I am honored to introduce our speaker today because I'm always excited to see younger people participate in all aspects of the chapel. And to me, that's assurance that we will continue to exist and grow. And our speaker today, Robyn Frost, is one of those younger people. She was introduced to the chapel in 1999 by her mom, Liz Cutshaw. that was like 25 years ago. So you must have been about what, 4 or 5 years old, or still in diapers.
Ninth grade.
Well, she has grown into a beautiful woman, beautiful young woman. And today she lives in Norfolk with her husband, Richard, on property that she is slowly but surely turning to self-sustaining farmstead. You got my heart right there. And active language learner, Robyn speaks German, French, and German fluently, and is currently brushing up on Spanish so she can help Central and South American immigrants with their future here in the U.S. That's awesome. Recently, Robyn has discovered the wisdom of the ancient Indian texts written in Sanskrit, including the Bhagavad Gita. In a recent conversation with Robyn, I learned that she's also a musician who writes, composes, and records music, as well as sing and plays a musical instrument. She got my ear with that one. So I give you our speaker today, Robyn Frost.
Thank you, Betty. That was a wonderful meditation, and wow, that was beautiful. Okay, so today, thank you all for coming. It's a large crowd. Today, I wanted to talk to you about something that I find many of us are interested in. I'd like to talk about Egyptian pyramids, because I know this is a subject that is of great interest here at the Metaphysical Chapel. I know some of us, some of you think that you had past lives in Egypt and you just love the culture. What I find interesting is that many people believe that the Egyptians were built by aliens or extraterrestrials, foreign beings. And I'm not trying to say that aliens do not exist, because many scientists believe there's quite a possibility with billions and billions of galaxies here, that, yeah, there are people in other worlds. I'm not trying to discredit that. I just think it's fascinating that recently, 10, 11 years ago, archaeologists found evidence that pyramids were built by humans. And I have other comments at the end. All right. So the second slide. So there's a young man. There's a scholar named Pierre Tallet. He's an Egyptologist, studies Egypt. He's an archaeologist. And it was back in 2011 that he went and studied part of Egypt, Wadi al-Jaf. It's a small town in the desert. Wadi is Egyptian, is Arabic for valley, the Valley of Al-Jaf. He went here and he discovered a place that had been visited twice before. Back in the 19th century, British explorers had come down. Later in 1950, French explorers came down and they found this building, these caves carved into a hillside. And what they assumed was these were catacombs. They had dead people in there, catacombs, and they dismissed it completely. However, when Pierre Tallet visited, he found that this structure that looks, it was made out of stone, it was carved out of stone, these massive boat gallery, these massive caves that I will show you later. He found that this resembled other harbors that he'd already seen. So Wadi al-Jaf is on the west side of the Red Sea, and he found that this was actually a boat gallery. So all of these caves have been carved into the hill, and he deduced that they had been stored to harbor boats, because he found like 31 anchors, and they had all written in hieroglyphs the names of the boats. So he found these anchors. He found like ancient textiles, ancient artifacts from the dynasty of the pharaoh Khufu, and these are objects 4,600 years old. And one of the most poignant discoveries on the next slide, we will see that what he discovered was ancient papyrus. And on the next slide, let's see. Ancient papyrus, 4,600 years old. It was found in multiple scraps, hundreds of scraps. He found this at the entrance and exit of the cave, between these large stones. No one else had found this. He found this ancient, several sheets of papyrus that looked like that on the left. And what he did was he decoded these. He pieced these all together. It's amazing. You can now find them in a museum in Boston, the Museum of Fine Arts. He pieced all these together, and they're written in hieratic script, which is not the hieroglyphics, which is very, that takes a lot of time, I'm sure, and a lot of skill. These are hieratic. It's pretty much it's the chicken scratch you'll find with that I write. It's something quick and simple, like shorthand almost. So he finds this and he reads it. He's actually able to read all of this basic hieroglyphic text. And what he finds is that it tells, okay, so first of all, it talks about the food that was supplied to these crews over 4,500 years ago. Their food, it lists the supplies they needed. It tells all about this crew, the crews that helped to build the Pyramid of Giza, which was the pyramid from Pharaoh Khufu that he made long ago. And so it lists all of this, but then he comes to a papyrus which points out that it's a log book. Someone they call Inspector Mere, or the Frenchman calls him Mere. He detailed in half-day increments exactly what happened, how they built the Pyramid of Giza. As you can see on the next slide, what was written down on these the papyri, it details a journey down from Giza, which is it's northern, it's just south of Cairo, it's on the northern part of the Nile. They mention a ship that sails down the whole Nile, and it goes to the city named Torah, which is where they unearthed the limestone that built the base of the foundation of the pyramids. So that's on the river. Of course they did that. But what they did next, which I think is amazing because no one has deduced this before, is they shipped all the way down the Nile, and to where that red dot is, Wadi al-Jaf. What these people did, crews of about 200 men, they disassembled the ships and they walked over to Wadi al-Jaf, the harbor, and then they carrying boats on their back. And so what they did here is they set up camp, and they had already brought food items from the lush Nile, because you can't find a lot of food in the desert. And what they did was they stored these boats. Well, first, what they did was they reassembled the boats, and they sailed, it's about 40 miles from Wadi al-Jaf. They crossed the Red Sea, and then they came to the Sinai Peninsula, as you can see. And right there, they set up camp again, because they were spending quite a bit of time camping at just out in the desert. And what they did is they found artifacts, they found mineral deposits of copper, which is used to make bronze, added with tin. They found copper as part of what would cut into the pyramids, what would actually carve them. And they also found turquoise, which I believe is a decorative element. So yeah, you're looking amazed. I know, this amazed me too. So they found these items, And what they did is they took the boats back up the Red Sea, actually, and I think this is amazing. These people are so intelligent. They built a canal and a basin of water, and they brought these objects up to Giza, right, and it's right next to the pyramid, so they could simply unload these, and they had it there. So if on the next slide, you can see that any engineers, anyone who knows how to build things, yes, I'm thinking of you, there are simple machines that they can construct the pyramids. So they have all of these elements, all these minerals, and simple machines, they use pulleys and they use levers. They build pyramids by this. And it's amazing because the Egyptians calculated the exact degrees where things would go to get them perfectly straight, how they would align with the sun. Okay, so I've told you about these documents that they discovered in 2013. And so here's the thing. I'm not trying to disprove, oh, aliens are just, it's hogwash, it's fun. I'm not trying to say there's none of that. Everything you believe is false. No. What I'm trying to do instead is show you that there are many TV shows and articles that just announce this. The pyramids were aliens and they're built by aliens. Humans couldn't do this. However, TV shows are trying to get your attention. They're just trying to appeal. What it is that instead of accepting this, just what TV shows and what articles say, I think it's better to look back and see people are intelligent. And also, yeah, okay, I was gonna say agree. And also, I'd like to say that, so instead of accepting things as blind faith, I think the Metaphysical Chapel, we believe in many things. People and New Age practices too, they'll believe that crystals have power, they have energy, they'll believe in psychic tendencies. We tend to believe alternative things because, we're not this organized, monotheistic religion that everyone else believes. And that's okay if you have your own experience with it. I think instead of believing what other people say, we need to have our own experience with clairvoyance. Yeah, because one of the issues is just accepting these with blind faith, and just it creates a sort of pseudoscience, metaphysics, and people would largely they kind of laugh at us, honestly, because that's for one example, that's what with the Bible, with Christianity, to me, a lot of it seems like, okay, I don't believe it because that's silly because there's so much mistranslation. And so I don't accept the faith as much. Like other people, they just look at metaphysics as it's just whatever. I think it has to be something we can meditate on. If we connect to extraterrestrial beings or spirit guides, that's our own personal experience. I just think this about just believing pyramids were built by aliens, what it is, it's discrediting the faith because we're accepting something that's unknown and just saying that, oh, we don't know how the pyramids were built, this is unknown. Because as soon as we find out that pyramids, oh, this happened, for example, it's like Galileo and discovering that we are not the only people in the world. The earth is the sun goes around us, okay? And then people discovered, wait, that's not the case. They have big telescopes, they figured it out. And so then it took hundreds of years for the Catholic faith to accept that we are not the center of the world. And so a lot of people, they just thought, oh, okay, they went completely against the church. And then they went further and said, okay, well, galaxies are against, they did not believe in that. Excuse me. They thought galaxies, and this proves that God doesn't exist. And there's unknown, God's always the unknown. And so people lose a lot of faith because, oh, okay, there's no God, there's no this. I, I just don't think that's a good way to think of the unknown, something that we don't think is possible, or something that when we don't know how to work, says God. It's something more personal. We have this inside, and we're able to have this wisdom that we can't just listen to what other people say. We need our own personal experience. And you know what? We can have our own psychic tendencies. We can have clairvoyance. We can do this because we believe it. So there you go. That's all I have to say. That yeah, people have found proof that pyramids were made by humans. And I think a lot of people, one more thing, I think a lot of people do not want to change their minds because they've had this belief all their lives,
Yeah.
all their lives. And they just think, no, I'm right. That's what politicians did before, all of a sudden claiming that there were other politicians in a pizza shop and they ate children. And even if you tell them that doesn't make sense and no, there's no evidence, they still firmly believe in this. Pizzagate, okay, and they don't want to accept change of views. All I'm asking is, I'm just proposing an idea, you can research it. Piatele wrote a book, Red Sea Scrolls, and there's plenty of YouTubes watching his speeches. If you accept that maybe humans were intelligent enough to actually do this, there's chapels, ancient churches from 10,000 years ago, farther east. People were capable. That's fine, but also that a universal spirit does exist. You don't have to have that completely disintegrate your faith. That's all I have to say. Thank you for listening to me.